Jailbreak has had dozens of updates throughout the nearly 5 years of its existence. But which ones are the best? Which ones stand up above the rest and change the game forever in a positive way? That's what I will be determining in this video, where I will rank my top 10 favorite Jailbreak updates. Remember, this ranking is subjective, so it's totally okay for you to have a different opinion than me. Let me know in the comments what your favorite updates are. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get started. In 10th place, we have the 2021 5 Days of Vehicles event. I thought this was a huge improvement over the 2020 5 Days of Vehicles, as this time all the vehicles were brand new and none of them were revamps. Also, the vehicles were targeted towards many different player ranges. There were some for beginners and a couple for endgame players, compared to the 2020 version where the only 2 vehicles added were targeted towards mid-game players. This update was a ton of fun because of the community speculation and anticipation for the new vehicles. It was always a blast to see the vehicle revealed and then join the game a few hours later to obtain it. But not only that, this update also fixed a lot of problems that the game has had for quite a bit and that players had been asking to be addressed for a long time. For example, it finally removed stripes from retired vehicles, which a lot of players, including myself, really did not like. It also finally fixed cars from UFOing out of the map, which was a bug that had been plaguing the game since the very beginning. Overall, I really loved this update and it was one of my favorites of last year. Then we have the agent update. This update is one of my favorites because of one key feature: pit maneuvers. This made it so that when you run into a car, the tires pop and the cops have an easier chance of catching criminals. This made car chases a lot more fun and a lot easier to stop. Beforehand, you'd just keep driving after a criminal pretty much forever. The only way to stop them would be if they ran into something and they were stuck. But now there was actually a purpose for car chases, and it made them a lot more fun for both teams. Up next is the Volt Bike revamp update. I absolutely hated the old Volt Bike. The old Volt Bike could not even be used normally because anytime it touched the smallest line, it would flip over. Once it had a glitch, it became absolutely unstoppable and ruined the game. It made it impossible for cops to catch criminals who were using this. After over a year, the devs finally removed it, and they added in a much better and much cooler Volt Bike. The new Volt Bike is one of my favorite vehicles in the game. It looks fantastic and it's just so much fun to drive. Beyond that, this update also fixed a lot of problems with the game as well. For example, it nerfed army heli missiles, which were overpowered tools that had been unchecked for far too long. It also added in an awesome police HQ in the city, which made it so that cops spawn in the city much more often, and now criminals are forced to fight with them more often. Also, this update allowed you to knock over obstacles in the city and in the town, which made driving a lot smoother, as now you wouldn't just come to a crashing halt when you smack into something. So yeah, I really loved this update and it was one of my favorites from last year as well. Up next is the 2019 weapons update. This update improved the combat system a lot for me, as it introduced camera locking. The camera would actually stay in one place, which made it a lot easier to aim at other people. In my opinion, this greatly improved the combat system, so I really love this update and it has been one of my favorites. Then we have the jewelry store update. This update, way back in June 2017, added the jewelry store to the game for the first time, and it also added the Bugatti. Before the jewelry store was added, the only robbery was the bank, so obviously the game was very boring. The jewelry store was an awesome new robbery at the time and many players loved it. Throughout the years, the jewelry store has remained one of the most popular and most interesting robberies due to the future updates it has received. This update also added in the Bugatti Veyron, which is one of the best cars in the entire game, and to this day players still really want it. So while I did not play this update, looking through the update log, this one really jumped out to me because of the additions it had. Up next is the 2020 live event. This live event was absolutely magnificent and blew the 2018 live event out of the water. Literally. The live event portion of this was absolutely insane. First off, there was a nuke launched, which then resulted in a tornado destroying the city, which culminated in the map being flooded. Then afterwards, the map got a ton of oceans and some mountains, which made the map look so much better. This live event came when COVID first started, so it was a great escape from what was going on in the real world, so I really enjoyed it. Then we have the 2018 gun update. This update significantly improved guns and it made the AK-47 actually good. Beforehand, the AK-47 was basically like a water gun, but now it was so much better. Now, when guns were used, they had actual impact and they felt much better to use. There's not much else to say about this update, but it's one of my favorites because it significantly improved the combat system and it changed the game so much. Then, we have the 2019 jewelry store and bank revamp. This update was huge. It made the jewelry store and the bank so much better, as it added in randomized floors and made them a lot more fun to complete. Previously, both robberies had just one set of obstacles, which had gotten repetitive very quickly. The bank in particular was very egregious as the layout was quite boring and it only gave a small amount of cash. Now, there were different layouts which gave different amounts of cash in the bank, and in the jewelry store, the layouts were also quite cool. This update made the bank and the jewelry store top tier robberies, so it comes in third place. In second place, we have the garage update. This update basically made it so that if you have the mobile garage, you are now able to spawn any car into the game. This update was monumental and changed the game forever. Beforehand, you had to actually go to the car spawn locations, but now you could just spawn any car you wanted at any point you wanted. This also made different season vehicles a thing, as beforehand you couldn't really have season vehicles because there was no way to get rid of them and let players spawn them again. But now players could just spawn retired season vehicles at any point they wanted. But coming in first place is the 2022 live event. Now, the live event portion itself was honestly not that great. It's my least favorite out of all 3 live events. However, the update that came along with it is my favorite update in the whole game. It basically doubled the size of the entire map and added a new robbery, which was very awesome. It basically adds in so much more potential to the future of the game. Who knows what we're gonna get in this new map expansion? The possibilities are truly exciting. Overall, this update makes me very excited for the future of the game and reminds me why I love it so much, so it comes in number 1. That's it for my ranking of my top 10 favorite jailbreak updates. What are your favorite jailbreak updates? Make sure to tell me your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing for more jailbreak rankings, news, and more types of content. Also consider following me on Twitter and joining my Discord server, both linked in the description below. Anyways, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you later.